Good morning, Nikki.
Hello, good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
We were just talking, I'm fine, but we were just talking about that we have most probably met before. And I think I was doing this show with Naked Opera where we were talking about, or Opera Naked, where we were talking about opera singers and their careers and stuff. Yeah. And I remember in one of the things I had to jump underneath the table, jump underneath the piano, that's it. And I hurt my right knee. And I remembered, oh my gosh, Physio Ed are really brilliant at kind of doing what I need for my body as an artist. And I'd gone to Ed before, in the earlier time, for my throat and, just checking. Yeah. And I remember you did my knee.
I did your knee way back when we were on Harley Street. Yeah, I've seen your knee. I've met you and your knee.
Oh, good morning, Susan. Lovely to see you. Lovely for you to be with us. Morning. Yeah, so it's funny, isn't it, that those things, how we kind of crisscross. Because I didn't choose you for this show today. It was Tommy, wasn't it? Tommy.
Yeah, hi Tom. I know you're watching with your coffee.
Yeah, hi Tom. And he was saying, I think she would be great, and da 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 da. And I think it's so wonderful when people recommend. Oh, there he is. Morning, Tommy. I think it's so brilliant when people recommend people for this these live chat sessions. So if anybody wants to recommend anybody, please do, because I love meeting new people and recognizing that our paths have already gone. Great. Yeah. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's Monday. And I am Nadine Benjamin, and I'm the intuitive Verdi soprano. And I am a certified NLP mind coach. I'm a certified high performance coach. I'm also a healer, and I'm a professional opera singer, singing all over the world. And I really, really, really love it. And I love championing, celebrating, and connecting people. And today, Tommy made this connection. Morning, Tanya. Today, Tommy made this connection, and I'm so glad that he did. I'm just getting my notes up because that's what I do. And we've got Nikki Franklin. So Nikki joined the Physio Ed Medical team in Germany as the resident physiotherapist, touring with the Cats, the musical, before moving into their Harley Street clinic. She is now the lead clinician who helped launch their second branch in Belsize Village. Here, she specialises in performance injury management, hypermobility, manual therapy, Western acupuncture, spinal manipulation, and vocal physiotherapy. And it is a joy to have her here with us this morning. Now, as I always say, please, if you need any GP medical type of help or psychotherapy or psychiatric help, please go and seek it out. We recommend it, we encourage it, especially around these times, and just get the help that you need. It is there, we promise. And if you can't do it yourself, maybe nudge a friend to help you. We encourage it and love it. So Nikki, please. Oh, we've got Martin Stars this morning and Alison Yo. Hey, lovely to see you. And Tanya, everybody. Morning, everybody. Hey, so Nikki, tell us, you were previously a dancer. Tell us all about, how did you get into dancing?
So I was one of those annoying kids at home that wouldn't stop dancing at the age of 2. So my parents were like to the local dance schools, when can you have her? Because she needs to be in a dance class. And they were like, look, if she's out of her nappies, bring her along. So I ended up going to the local dance school. I loved it. It was everything, it was my whole week. It was where all my good friends were. I loved dancing. So I did that about 5 or 6 times a week at my local dance school. Then I moved on to doing some bits with the English youth ballet. And then it was everything. It provides a lot of stuff. It teaches you about your body. It's a way of expressing yourself. I was never good at anything with my voice, so I couldn't do the singing stuff. I couldn't do the acting. It wasn't my comfort zone. But put me on stage and let me dance, that's a different story. So that was my way of expressing myself, and I absolutely loved it. And I think now in my role as a physio, it's taught me a lot about how the body works and that sort of discipline.
So did you end up dancing in shows and stuff?
Only with the English Youth Ballet. So I did the Sleeping Beauty in Nottingham, and obviously did various bits and pieces with my local dance school. And then it got to a point where it was like, right, do you want to do this, or what are you going to do? And I think for me, I I quite liked the idea of physio, having had a few injuries along the way, and sort of learned from an early age what a physiotherapist was, and then thought, do you know what, actually, if at some point I could link the two interests together, that would be ideal.
So it's interesting, isn't it? I believe that we always start to teach what we struggle with. I always say that we teach what we struggle. Like every great person who's really great at their job has some form of experience of knowing what it was like to go through it.
Yeah, I think you have to have that level of empathy to really connect with it. Yeah, definitely.
So when did you get into this physiotherapy and how did it start? So I know you've got the idea from wanting to do that, but how did it like kind of formulate?
I think because I had danced from such an early age, the idea formulated. I was probably about 11 and thought, I want to be a physiotherapist. And, you know, some of my friends probably never even heard of what one of those was at that time. And it just progressed from there. So I tailored my studies through A-levels to be able to go to university to do a physiotherapy degree. And then it was post degree at Nottingham that I sort of started sending emails out to people that worked with professional performers, not being like, hi, I'm a new grad, please give me a job, but just saying like, you know, this is my background, I'd love to come and shadow and see what you do in your clinic, just to keep up my skill set and, you know, tailor it towards that kind of clientele. Obviously got plenty of emails back, no, sorry, my clinic's too small to accommodate you at this time. And it was Ed from Physio Ed who actually got back to me and said, actually, can you call me? At which point I was like, okay, this is good. And he said, listen, look, I like your email. I think we should have a chat. Have you heard of Cats the Musical? And I'm at home thinking, oh my God, yes. I wanted to be the white cat my entire life. And then he sort of invited me down. We did a more formal interview process. And he said, look, I've got this job in Germany. Do you want to go and be the resident physio in Cats? And I'm trying to play it cool, dream job a little. So, sure, yeah, I can do that for you. And it kind of went from there. Cats went well, and then I moved into Harley Street and been working with Ed for years now.
You know, you bring up a really great point, and if there's any person listening that is coming out of college or coming out of degrees, you know, I didn't go to do a college or a degree or anything like that, but what I did was the same thing as Nikki. I went round to different places and said, this is what I'm really interested in, and can I come and shadow? And I think you bring up a really great point. I watched opera, people in opera, you know, Welsh National Opera were great with me. You know, they would let me come and watch dress rehearsals and just sit and watch how it all worked. And then I could get a bird's eye view of, oh, I need to be like this, or, oh, maybe I wouldn't have done that way, but maybe I can look at how I do something. And actually just from learning from those people, it's amazing how fast you kind of accelerate your own learning.
100%. And also, I got plenty of no's in that, but you just need the one right yes, that one opportunity. And if you take it and grab it and learn from it, like you just said, it can really expand from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant. So I wanted to ask you a question about, you know, there's sometimes when we have injuries, or there's sometimes when we're maybe not feeling too well, and we're kind of told not to exert ourselves. But is it still okay to do some form of movement? Because my own experience, I have found that if I have to stop movement for too long, or even if it's just 3 days, I know this sounds this funny, but I notice when I go back to the exercise, I feel like my body starts crying. It's like, you know, I feel these tears coming from my eyes. It's almost like my body's missed the movement.
Yeah. I think, every case is individual, and it depends on the reason why you've been told not to exert yourself. And if there's a real strong medical risk for you doing exercise, then, you know, you need to speak to a medical professional about that. But I think the body it likes to move. And especially in times like now where a lot of us are living the laptop life and working from home, it's missing the laptop life. But it's, you know, we're all kind of on our phones, on our laptops a lot more. We've got our one allocated bit of exercise per day at the moment. And I think a lot of people's bodies are missing the movement. And I think as long as, you know, I kind of class exerting yourself as really getting fatigued, pushing yourself to your sort of maximum intensity. But I think as long as you're smart, or you work with someone of a medical professional background to tailor something that's gentle, that does still allow you to move, but in a modified capacity, and can advise that it's safe to do that, then I think your body will thank you for it, and your mind for doing it.
Yes, because it's all, I'm so into the mind. But so you're going to show us, are you, some things that that we
Oh,
can...
well, yeah. Well, I thought everybody's sort of, it's probably a bit early for some people, Tom, I know. You might be with a later date, not quite at 9 a.m. this morning. But I just thought we'd go through some really gentle mobility exercises that will help target some parts of the body that are probably a bit stiff at the minute because we're all working from home and not moving in the same way that we normally would day in, day out. Just to say, look, if you have got any known injuries or aches and pains that you're not sure about and you don't think that any of these exercises feel good or you experience any sharp pain with it, obviously please stop, and I don't want you to push into any pain. It's very, very gentle. They're exercises that I give out as part of rehab programs or to people for maintenance, so it should be very gentle, but just listen to your body, and if it doesn't feel good, please stop.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. Okay, well,
so
you're the professional here. I'm just going to let you go.
I think we'll just start with a little bit of breathing first of all, because I think actually it's one of the first things that a lot of people forget to do properly or to sort of work their body properly through breathing. So it's up to you. You can either be sat for this or you could be lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. And I just want you to place your hands on your tummy and your lower ribs. And I just want you to take a really big, deep inhale here. In through the nose, fill the lungs and feel your rib cage sort of expand into your hands as you take that inhale in. And then as you breathe out, bring it all in. Let the ribs come back together. And again, breathe in. Expand into your hands. And then as you breathe out, let everything in together. Now, for men, so we can start to wake up a little bit more pelvic floor, there's a prompt you can use, and I'm sorry if this makes you spit your coffee out this time in the morning, but if you could think about drawing your testicles up and in as you exhale, it's going to help engage those deeper muscles. And for women, if you can think about trying to stop breaking wind and stop yourself going to the toilet mid-flow, again, we're going to start to wake up those deeper pelvic floor muscles, and that is on the out breath. So big breath in, big breath out, balls up and in, guys. And breathe in, breathe out. Fill your lungs, breathe in, and breathe out. And every now and then when you're at your computer for too long, you can just start with a little bit of that breathing to get the rib cage expanding, start waking up some of the deeper muscles. We're now going to take this onto all fours if you're comfortable, and if not, I'll give you an alternative. So, on your hands and knees, on all fours. Can we see? Yes, I think we can. Okay. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. You're going to drop your head and lift your spine up towards the ceiling. So you're tucking your bum under, rounding your upper back. Give it a nice good stretch. And then you're going to release. You arch your back the opposite way. Pull your shoulders away from your ears and tilt your pelvis looking up. Don't crunch too much in the back of the neck, just to where it feels comfortable. And then you're going to repeat that again. Drop the head, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Really stretch, squeeze your bottom underneath you. And release, come through. If you're on all fours, carry on with that. If you're in your seat, you can place your hands on your knees and just round the back, drop the head, stretch the back behind you. And then you're going to come up onto your sit bones. Lead with your chest, open your collarbones and come forward. And again, round the spine, drop the head, release. And come forward. Lead the chest, open the shoulders. Just do that a couple more times, whether you're sitting or on all fours. And open.
Oh, good one, Nikki. We love that.
Get things moving.
Yeah, Gabby is saying good morning, breathing very deeply. She loves it.
Amazing. If you're on your all fours position now, we're going to start with some back rotations. So all you're going to do is reach the arm underneath you towards me and come back to where you started. And then you change sides. You're going to reach away, twist in the mid-back, and come back to where you started. Reach to me, and back to where you started. If you're on all fours, keep going. If you're sitting, I would just take one hand onto the knee, lengthen through the spine, and just try and gently rotate your body away. Open your collarbones and twist. Again, we're not pushing into pain, just to where it feels comfortable. And then come back to center, change the leg, lengthen through the spine first, and rotate away. And just a couple more times each way. Lengthen and twist. And again, lengthen and twist. So going back to our all fours team, from here, what I want you to do is take your hands further forward now, so they're away from you, and you're going to take your right hand wide and put your left hand on top of that. Then you start to sit your hips back towards your heels and push your ribs away. So you're trying to get a nice stretch in that side of the body. This area gets really tight from us sitting down too long. And then you repeat that the other side. Push the ribs away. Okay, if you're sat, we're going to take one arm up to the ceiling and just gently lean away. Keep your sit bones grounded, so don't lift off. Keep those down and just lengthen that side of the body. And remember to breathe. And then come up, we change sides, lengthen through the side of the body, sit bones stay grounded, and lean. Nice. And
I love the stretch.
Feels nice. This area can get really sticky.
Yes.
It's nice to open it up, definitely. Okay, hip flexors, one area that can get very tight from all the sitting that we do. This one, if you're comfortable on your knees, you're going to come up onto your knees and step 1 foot forward. From here, I want you to really actively tuck your tailbone under, so you really squeeze your bottom, and then you come forward into that front knee. The leg that's on the floor, you raise that arm up and give it a little lean away. Now, if I show you from the front, you're going to step 1 foot forward. You do a nice tuck under in the tailbone, squeeze your bottom, lunge into that front leg. Now, the side that we're trying to stretch, you raise that arm and give it a little lean away and just hold. 20 to 30 seconds here. Just opening up the hips. This area can get really tight because we're sat a lot. It's really nice to open the front of the hips up. And repeat on both sides. Step it through, tuck the tailbone, lunge it through, and lean away if you feel comfortable. If that's enough of a stretch without the arms, leave it like that. If you want a bit more, add the arm and the lean.
Is there any way that we could do that kind of stretch if you're sitting?
It's a slightly harder sitting one to do because the position of sitting is where you're shortening the hip flexors. Right. But if you can't go onto your knees, another kind of next best equivalent would be a standing version, which would get a little bit more quad, where people can bring heel.
Okay.
Again, squeeze your bum underneath. You'll get more stretch if you really tuck under in the pelvis. Yeah. So you can open out this sort of area because you can get quite short with being sat for as long as we are.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then I just thought we'd do a little bit of glute work. So because we're sat a lot, those muscles like to switch off readily. They're a happy muscle to leave the party. So we want to wake them up, make sure your glutes are working. Everything will feel better if they're switched on. So you are going to lie on your back and your feet are quite close towards you. Start by gently rocking the pelvis. So you're trying to push your lower back down towards the floor. And as you do that, you squeeze your bum. So you could do this sort of pelvic tilt motion in sitting as well.
Yeah.
And then when you've got that moving, you just start to lift from that position, squeezing your bum, lifting your hips, probably just about a fist height off the floor. And then really articulate through the spine. You're going to slowly lower back down, one bone at a time. So it's your tailbone that touches down last, but it's the first thing you pick up. So you're rolling your spine up and down the floor like a string of pearls. And just squeezing your bottom as you go. And again, if you're doing that in sitting, you can just do gentle pelvic tilts, rocking forwards and backwards in the pelvis. And you could even do glute holds where you squeeze your bottom and release. Squeeze your bottom and release. So there's ways of getting around it if you're not comfortable getting on the floor, if you haven't got time to get out of your seat, if you're mid-email, but you think I just need to keep moving a little bit. And there's definitely ways of getting around that. I would say don't be stacked for too long if you can avoid it. So if you have got a full day of work, so you're at your laptop sort of 9 till 5 or however long you are, I would say try and move every 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that, Nikki, because I'm a high performance coach, and that's exactly what we say, that every 50 minutes at least, or every 45 minutes, breathe, stretch, and hydrate.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go for a run, but move. And the body is very resilient. So, people say, oh, you shouldn't be sat, or you need an ergonomic working desk. And yes, you do to a certain extent, but the spine and the body will allow you to do hunched laptop work, but it's the prolonged amount of time in those positions that it doesn't really like. So if you are kind of, cramming the emails in and doing a lot on your laptop for more than an hour, I think your body is going to prefer it if you try and move every 45 minutes to an hour. Just do a couple of those little hip openers, bit of shoulder mobility, you'll feel much better for it. And actually, I think you'll find that your brain is a bit more connected to the work afterwards once you've moved and, taken a breath away and then get back to it.
That's definitely the thing, is it brings you back more focused. That's exactly right.
It resets everything.
Yeah, it really resets anything. If anybody does have any questions for Nikki, please don't feel afraid to put it in the chat, because I'm sure Nikki will answer them if she can. But please feel free to do that. So Nikki, in terms of you did quite the cat one that they do a lot in the yoga. Yeah. In terms of, does that kind of put the fluid back in the spine? What is that actually doing?
It's just mobilizing it. So what you're doing is you're getting some movement through all the little segments of the spine. Yeah. You're also starting to move the soft tissues around the spine. Yeah. So it's not really doing anything in terms of the spinal fluid, but you'll be getting an increase in blood flow to the spine and the muscles, and that's kind of what the body needs. Like keep it bathed with all the stuff. Like if you had a creaky joint, you'd oil it. Bathe the body with the blood flow and just keep things moving.
Yeah. And with performers, because you get a lot of performers where you are, but you see other people other than performers as well.
Yeah, you don't have to be a performer to come into the clinic. It's a lot of what we do, instrumentalists, singers, actors, dancers. Yeah. But we also have a lot of people that are non-performers that perhaps do work in the city and are, working in an office environment, something a bit more stationary. But I think the way that we treat in clinic, we sort of like to think that everyone can benefit from that. So you don't have to be a performer to benefit from how we work with the body.
And what would be your 3 most common things that you get coming into the...
So overall, I would say lower back pain is a biggie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Lower back pain is a lot. It takes off for a lot of people, whether they're from a performance background or a non-performance background. Yeah. Then I would say, depending on what you're doing, if you're a performer, there's sometimes trends with different types of performers. So like your musical theatre bunch versus perhaps the operatics. You might see more from a vocal stance for some. You might see more from a physicality. They're doing strange choreography, 8 shows a week, down. And it's that repetition and loading on the body that can present things. So certain shows tend to present with certain injuries depending on the choreography that they're doing. You might have a certain show that's like all shoulder injuries, whereas some shows it's like all the hip flexors, depending on what they're doing in that show.
And can physio, because I only know physio to be used as something that happens after an injury, but can it be used as a preventative as well?
Yeah, totally. And I think the world is getting better at that, and maybe even more so in lockdown now. People are sort of taking the time to figure out what's good for their bodies and things. So absolutely. There is a lot of stuff that you can do, whether you're a performer or not, that can keep your body maintained for what you need to do in life and keep it optimized for what you need to do in life. And especially with the performers, there's plenty of things. Even these stretches here, they're good ways to keep things moving well, so that your tool, which is your body and your voice if you're a performer, is working as well as it can be. So it's just about being smart, putting things in place. If you know you're going to do a show that's got 20 million high kicks on one leg, you want to make sure your body's a bit more balanced and you've stretched out the necessary parts and those sort of things before.
And you would agree that stretching is really vital before we start doing things.
We like people to do a warm-up and a cool-down. I think the thing that gets missed a lot, even in vocal warm-ups, is the cool-down. And we always want people to cool down after some sort of activity or performance, because every time you don't, you're just pushing your body that little bit closer to injury point. It's good to reset the body back to your baseline, and then the next time you perform, you're operating from an optimized level rather than leaving it all tight and up tense after a performance, just bring it down to a good resting level.
Wow, that's good. I mean, I don't ever do a cool down. So Nikki, great advice. Like, I'll be doing the cool downs now.
Siren down a few times, bring everything down to a good level, reset your, set your body back to a good baseline.
Absolutely. So where can we find you? Tell me.
So we have 2 clinics. Our Harley Street one has moved on to Wimpole Street, and I'm at the one in our Belsize Village branch. At the moment, obviously, it is stranger times, so we are operating a remote service at the moment. Okay. So we've got a couple of physios working with Skype or Zoom or FaceTime consultations. Okay. So if you're worried about an injury or you're midway through some rehab and you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all the benefits that I've worked on so hard in the past few weeks, we have still got physios available to talk you through exercise programs, check in on your injury, and work remotely with you. And that's all on, you can find all the information on our www.physioedmedical.co.uk website. And then we're also on Instagram and Twitter at Physio Ed Medical.
Oh, brilliant. So have you got any final thoughts for us, Nikki?
I think just keep...
Oh, wait, one second. We've got a question I get from my friends. How can singers know if they need physio?
So vocal physio.
Yeah. Do you mean vocal physio, Tommy?
Yeah.
Let's just say yeah.
Yes. We'll go with yes. I mean, to be honest with you, there's 2 ways of looking at the vocal side of what we do. If you're a singer and you know you've got a busy year coming up and you know you, like, say your July is going to be, I'm going to be singing every day or rehearsing lots and my vocal load is going to be huge. Sometimes it's quite nice to do as a maintenance tool, sort of pre and post, so bookend the busy period with a bit of vocal release and check in and afterwards and make sure everything's in an optimized position. Alternatively, we get a lot of people that come through that have noticed symptoms like fatigue, their voice is cutting out, they've probably lost some of their register, it's not as easy, there's a breathy quality, they're noticing things that aren't there normal in their singing voice. And then we can come and assess it, check on the resting state of the larynx, any specifics in muscle tension that could be operating around the jaw, the larynx itself, and identify that. And if we're concerned or it's not changing as we would anticipate, we've got a great network of ENTs and specialists that we can refer to and work within a team environment. So I think if you're noticing something untoward, don't leave it, get it checked. And it could be something as simple as muscle tension that's the issue, but it's worth getting it checked and not letting that escalate.
Oh, brilliant. So yeah, as I was saying, any final thoughts for us, Nikki?
I think in this time, it's obviously very strange and people are finding different ways of coping. I would say from a physio point of view, just try and move regularly. Your mind and your body will thank you for it. And look for the positives in all of this. There aren't, for some people there aren't many, but cling on to the ones that you can see. And if you're having a day where you can't see any, don't beat yourself up either. It's okay to have a down day.
Yeah, well, that's what I say. I say, sometimes as long as you plan the rest or plan the Netflix time or you plan the doing time, just make sure that you've planned it, because it gives you so much more empowerment when you know that you've set how you want your day to be. And if part of that is just, even today for me, I had 15 minutes worth of exercise and that was all I needed, but really woke my brain up and and had me in a little bit of tears because my body was wanting to release, and it was great to just release the body. We've got Philip Barnett saying, good morning Nadine and Nikki, excellent session, good advice, I will review later and might break the habit of a lifetime and do some physio. Well done. If we've only got one person, that's great, that's what we wanted. And Susan Pentland is saying, must remember to move every hour when I go back to work, very guilty for bad posture, excellent advice, stay safe both. And Lena Christmas is saying, bless you and thank you, I shall make those exercises part of my daily routine. Oh wow, that's wonderful everybody, thank you so much. So tomorrow we will have Rachel Barnett, and she's coming to talk about her, I think it's called Toy Stories or Stories with Toys. I need to let her talk to you all about that. She will kill me if I say it wrong, so I'll let her do it for you. But she is a wonderful character, and she is a writer, a producer, a director. She's everything actually. So it would be really fun, and she'll be coming on tomorrow to talk to us at 9 a.m. So we look forward to having Rachel on tomorrow. And take care, everybody. Thank you, Nikki, so much. And for all of you who joined us today, thank you so much and keep well. Fly high stories. Thank you, Philip. So Rachel's coming on to talk to us about fly high stories. I'm glad somebody knows what they're talking about. But thank you so much, and thank you so much for joining us. Take care. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.